I'm intrigued, very intrigued about what I'm going to find out, because it's a different thing looking at a photograph. I mean, a photograph only captures a fraction of a second of time, whereas building up a history and talking to people and going on a journey of research is much more interesting. This is my grandmother, Doris Ashworth, who I used to call Nan, and that's her mother, my great-grandmother, Sarah Cunliffe. This lady, Sarah Cunliffe, is my inspiration for doing this programme. I recognise myself in her when I see the picture. I'd like to find out why the women in our family were so obsessive, because I'm the same. Control freak, ball breaker, anal retentive, pain in the arse, that sort of thing. So I wonder whether she was the same. I think she probably was.
Actress Jane Horrocks is best known as Bubble in Absolutely Fabulous, and for her starring role in the hit film Little Voice. She now lives in London with her partner Nick and their 2 young children.
This is a very northern tradition, pegging out on a Monday. These are little things that have been passed down from generation to generation. I've learnt how to peg out from my mum, and presumably she learnt how to peg out from her mum, and Doris probably learnt how to peg out from Sarah.
Jane is travelling to Lancashire, where she grew up with her 2 brothers, and where her parents still live, just north of Manchester, in Rawtenstall.
A lot of people think that I'm a professional northerner because I maintain my accent, but I don't think I am, really. I have tried to change my accent. I remember when I went to elocution lessons when I was a kid, and I decided to try it for a day and talk posh for a day, and my friend was so incensed with me. I said, "Well, you stop talking in that ridiculous voice." And that was it, really. I thought, I can't do this. My friends hate me for it. I'm not me anymore if I lose my accent. I'm definitely more like my mum than my dad. I've taken on all my mum's quirks. My mum's very vivacious and happy. And my dad, he's much more reserved, quieter, and he does as he's told. Hello!
Oh, lovely to see you.
Hi, Dad. Oh, good to see you.
Yeah, and you, yeah.
This is my dad, John.
Hello.
This is my mum, Barbara. Barbara and John Horrocks. We're going to have a brew.
Certainly.
Sure. Come in.
In 1957, John Horrocks, a sales representative, married Barbara Ashworth, a secretary. Barbara's mother, Doris, was the only child of Sarah, Jane's great-grandmother.
I've got this picture of Sarah and Doris. I love this picture. There she is.
Yeah, just look. This tiny little frame.
Yeah, she was, wasn't she?
Just like you.
And she's... Doris
Like
just
I
looks
was.
lovely. Yeah, you were like that.
Past tense for mother.
A little thin person.
But look, you know, there's the similarity, isn't there, definitely. Yeah. She was like a little bird, wasn't she?
Yeah.
I think my main interest in our history is why we come from, I think, a line of strong women.
And how do you define a strong woman?
Well, I always call myself a control freak.
Yes.
Doing too much and taking on too much and then being exhausted by the end of it and being cross with everybody.
Yes.
But not allowing anybody else to do it.
Yes.
Not delegating, not saying, oh, would you please do that for me? Would you please do that for me? Doing it and then saying, well, you could have helped.
Yes. Well, that was precisely how Doris was, which I can only presume she inherited from Sarah. And then I've inherited that from Doris, and you are very much like I am.
Do you think it's hard to live with that as a man, Dad?
Well, you just ignore it because majority of the time,
Do
actually.
you just become immune to it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Does my having left the north affect you in any way?
Well, only that we miss you. You know, we miss not seeing you as regularly as we would have been able to do in the north, but that's how families have it, and didn't used to do when I was going to growing up and even working. People who went to Manchester to work were really, really adventurous.
Yes.
And in Doris's day and Sarah's day would be completely unheard of.
They're all very pleased that you were making a different life for yourself.
Yes.
So it wasn't
I'm hoping
like
you'll be
this.
very successful, actually.
Yeah.
No, I didn't
Yeah.
look at it that way.
Oh, Dad.
I hope you're not going to get all this.
Well, you've been brilliant, both of you.
I'm not going to tell Ross on
You've not been bad either.
No, I certainly am not doing nor else. I'll black that woman from the north.
While Jane investigates her past, she's staying with her parents.
This is where I'm usually put. This is my mum and dad's bedroom. So I'm in the master suite. And they're in bunks next door. Here is Rottenstall. It should be pronounced Rawtenstall. It's R-A-W-T-E-N. Stall. But locals pronounce it Rottenstall. Rottenstall. This is Burnley Road, Rottenstall, and we're coming up to the White Lion pub where I used to go out and drink. And my first kiss was along here in a bungalow with a lad called Gads. I can't remember it being particularly earth-shattering, and he was a bit on the rough side. So that's why I liked him. Now I go for Cambridge-educated boys.
Rawtenstall today is very different to when Jane's great-grandmother Sarah was a young woman in the 1870s. Then Rawtenstall was dominated by the cotton industry. Cotton goods were Britain's biggest export, and the slogan, "Britain's bread hangs by Lancashire's thread," was known throughout the land. Sarah worked as a weaver in one of the two large mills that provided work for most of the town. They were owned by the Whitehead family, who built streets of houses to accommodate their workers. One was Whitehead Street, where Sarah and 3 generations of Jane's family lived for over 60 years. It's where Jane is meeting her Aunt Molly, Jane's mother's sister, who lived in the street with Doris and Sarah.
We knew everybody on the street. Half of them we called Auntie and Uncle.
So who lived here?
Auntie Mary, and then Uncle Will, Auntie Lottie were there, and the Davison sisters. Now then, we get to number 13, which was where your great-grandparents lived.
Yeah.
And my mother, or your grandma, lived at number
15.
Yes. So consequently, we were like an extended family, going from one house to the other. There was sort of no difference at all.
And what are your memories of Sarah?
Oh, they're very good indeed, because we had a very close relationship.
Did you?
Oh, yes, yes. I spent hours and hours and hours there.
How would you describe her then?
Oh, she was little, forceful, kind, but she gave all the orders.
Did she? So she
yes,
ruled the
we'll do
roost.
this, we'll do that, we'll do that. Yeah.
Because we're not like that at all, are we?
No, not at all. We come of a line of dominant women. That's it.
What time did they have to get up in the morning?
Everybody in the street had to be at work for 6 o'clock.
Did they have alarm clocks to get them up at that time?
I have no idea. They didn't have knocker-ups. I know that my father had a knocker-up. He used to have a long pole.
Right.
And he used to tap the windows and he used to shout, "Joey, Joey, time to get up."
But it wasn't just cotton which dominated the town. Sarah was part of a large Methodist community which believed in hard work and strong morals. The church supported the temperance movement, an organisation against alcohol. Temperance bars selling non-alcoholic drinks became popular meeting places. Sarah's local bar still stands today.
Morning.
Good morning. It's the only temperance bar in England.
All right. What would you recommend that we had?
Well, on a day like today, I should imagine blackberry and raisin. Warm, if you don't mind me saying so.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yes, please. Yes,
Two of
that would be
those.
yes, please. That would be very nice.
So people don't come in here if they've got hangovers.
They're always in here with hangovers.
Thank you very
This is what
much.
they drink.
Not in the
You are,
Methodist
Jane.
days, though.
No, not at all. You weren't allowed to have a hangover if you were a Methodist. Let's sit down.
Molly's brought Jane here to explain why Sarah had only one child, Doris.
When did Sarah have Nan?
She was 42.
Hey, that's old, isn't it?
Well, it is very old, but bear in mind, she'd had this life where she'd had to bring up these two boys and look after the house, look after the home, her mother having died when she was very young. So she had the responsibility of running the house, looking after these two and bringing up these
Her
two
brothers?
little boys. Yes, her two brothers.
So there'd be a big age difference between her and the brothers?
Not a tremendous age, because we're all talking about she was 12, so these boys might have been 2 and 4. You would be able to tell from records, obviously.
And her father was at work?
Her
leaving
father
her
was at
to-
work, yes, well, he had to be, because he was a wage earner.
She must have had an extraordinarily hard life
Yes.
to have brought up these brothers
Yes. But she was never resentful. They just accepted it because they'd no alternative.
I knew nothing about this piece of family history. How can that have been kept a secret? It's weird that only Auntie Molly knows about it. This girl, Sarah, was left to raise her two brothers from the age of 12.
Just behind the Temperance Bar is Longholm Methodist Chapel. This has been the place of worship for Jane and her family for over 100 years.
I've always loved coming back to Longholm because the smell has always been the same. It's a very warm, homely smell. And when I've spent Christmases here, we've always come to Longholm on Christmas Day. And we've spent a lot of fantastic family occasions here.
Longholm is where, as a child, Jane made her first stage appearance.
I remember being very excited about coming on stage, and we all got ready in the back. And that was a hive of activity, and probably very hysterical as well. Everyone saying, you're on, get this on, and all that. It was, very frenetic, I think, back there. And, it was very exciting when we were all lined up on the stage. I'm sure we were all lined up, and then the curtains came back, and, yeah, it would be hugely exciting for an 8-year-old girl. Hello, Mr. Nichols.
Hello.
Hi.
Jane's hoping that Reverend Nichols, a minister at Longholm, has Sarah's parents' burial records.
Thank you for your time today.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. How can I help you?
Well, I'm trying to find out when my great-great-grandmother, Jane Cunliffe, died, and her husband as well.
Righto. Would you like to sit down a minute and I'll get the book out? Right.
John and Jane Cunliffe. September the 6th, 1888. John Cunliffe, 52 years. And Jane, the 9th of December, 1890, 53 years. But I thought that Jane died before John. I mean, that's incredible, because I was led to believe that the father was around financially supporting Sarah, who was, doing this amazing job of bringing up the brothers. But to think that her father wasn't around either, so she didn't have any financial backing. Orphaned at a very early age, and it makes you go all a bit weird, because Sarah, no wonder she's a strong woman. Heck.
But then Jane notices Sarah's date of birth. With some simple maths, she's discovered that Sarah was far from being a child when her parents died.
So she was 29, actually, when her father died, and she was 31 when her mother died. So she wasn't 12. My auntie's a liar. Well, I think that certainly my auntie's romanticised Sarah's life. Just, you know, to think of a 12-year-old girl bringing up two brothers, two younger brothers, and running a household is a very, you know, romantic notion of somebody being, you know, heroic and a martyr. And actually, she was a lot older than that.
Jane now wants to confirm how old Sarah's brothers were when their parents died. To do this, she's gone over the road to Rawtenstall Library to meet local genealogist Jackie Ramsbottom. Her investigation starts with the 1891 census.
So Sarah, the eldest, at 32, did we say? 32, cotton weaver. Frederick, brother, age 12. William, brother, 9 years, scholar. All right. Well, so they would be quite a lot younger than her then, wouldn't they? Right, I'd assumed that they were of a similar age.
The records clearly show that at least 2 decades separate Sarah from her younger brothers Frederick and William, confirming that she did have to raise them on the death of their parents.
I think it would have had a huge impact on Sarah, her mother dying and leaving her to look after her 2 brothers and not pursue a relationship, not think about children of her own. Yeah, it would have been hard work for her.
To find out more about the family's life before Sarah's parents died, Jane looks back another 10 years to the 1881 census.
Sarah, 22, cotton weaver. Mary, what relation was she, Mary?
Sister.
So the sister. Oh, this is getting very complicated. George, Elizabeth, Ernest, and then Frederick, and William Herbert. Good grief, it's a huge family. That's incredible that these haven't been mentioned.
Jane has discovered that as well as Frederick and William, Sarah had an additional 4 younger siblings: Ernest, Elizabeth, George, and Mary. Sarah's mother had in fact given birth to not 3, but 7 children.
I just wonder why Sarah had only mentioned 2 brothers. My Auntie Molly did keep referring to these 2 brothers that she'd brought up. And it seems weird that she didn't mention the other children, so whether they'd fallen out with each other, she didn't have anything to do with them, I don't know.
Jane looks yet further back to the 1861 census. It's the first census in which Sarah appears, age 2. It also shows her mother had just given birth to her first son.
Was it Thomas?
Thomas.
We've not had a Thomas before, have we?
That's right.
What does it say there?
1 day.
1 day old. So, just Thomas and Sarah. So, he probably died, didn't he?
We can have a look if you like.
He must have done. Yeah, can we have a look?
I'm looking for Thomas and a death. And as you can see, in 1864, Thomas Catlaw Cunliffe actually died in the Haslingden Registration District.
So he died at the age of 3?
3.
Well, my auntie doesn't know that either. I feel like Miss Marple. All this information and it's mine. What am I going to do with it? And that's incredible. 5 other siblings. Thomas died at 3, but there's 4 that we don't know about, which is just amazing. What happened to them? Where are they now? So, ooh, it is, I feel like a private detective. Now, what would Miss Marple do at this stage?
What mystifies Jane is why Sarah's brother Thomas should die at such a young age, while all her other siblings reached adult life.
So I'm just off to Manchester Library to meet a lady called Janet, who's a social historian, to try and find out what was going on in Rossendale around 1864 and what possibly happened to Thomas and why he died at 3.
When Thomas died in 1864, Sarah and her family were living through the darkest period in Lancashire's history, the cotton famine. 3 years earlier, vital raw cotton imports had stopped coming from America when it became embroiled in a bloody civil war. America became divided between the North, led by President Lincoln, and the Confederate South, where the cotton plantations were run by slave labor. Lincoln opposed slavery and launched a campaign to abolish it. His troops blockaded the ports and stopped the export of cotton. The effect in Lancashire was devastating. Cotton mills closed, and poverty and unemployment took hold. For 4 years, the mills stood quiet. There was mass starvation and disease. Malnutrition and dysentery were rife, and many of the old and the very young died.
What were the diseases that were around at that time?
Well, the main epidemic diseases, there was typhoid and typhus, any of these contagious diseases, scarlet fever, but perhaps the main problem was the fact that having a poor diet and with all the flies around due to poor sanitation, chances are people were daily living with their stomach upset, and obviously for adults they can deal with it a lot better than small children. And one of the main causes of death for small children was diarrhea, because they just couldn't cope with all the bacteria that were around. Well, you might find it interesting. I found this article by Reverend John Bailey from 1862. He actually travelled through Lancashire, and in one town, Bailey heard of a family which had been living for a fortnight on bread and water without a whisper of complaint, having reached even a neighbour. And this is most likely what your family is going through at the time. And poor Thomas, being the youngest at 3, would be struggling much harder than Sarah and their parents.
Up until this point, it's just been names, really, and suddenly today, you know, Thomas has become a very real person for me, and I sort of feel the pain that his mum and dad felt, you know, losing him at the age of 3, which was, you know, such a tragedy, such a tragic thing to happen. And I suppose you just rattle it off, oh yeah, he died at 3, but when you actually think it's my family, it's hard.
By 1862, poverty, disease and starvation were taking their toll. The crisis had become so bad that the cotton workers held a meeting at the Free Trade Hall in Manchester. In spite of their hardship, they voted to support Lincoln's stand against slavery. The Civil War ended in 1865. After 4 years of immense suffering, cotton from America arrived in Lancashire once again. As thanks for their support, Lincoln presented a statue of himself. It still stands today in Lincoln Square, Manchester.
I suppose I feel proud, really. I feel proud that my ancestry were so strong-minded, that they believed in something so strongly that they were prepared to die for it. And they must have known that not having cotton, the end of their industry for a while, meant that inevitably there would be deaths. My great-uncle died as a result of the poverty that was caused because the cotton couldn't get through. So it's incredibly evocative seeing this. Yeah. The more the journey goes on, the closer I'm getting to building up a strong image of what Sarah's life was like. You can see why she was such a capable person, because she had to be. We still have yet to find out about what life was like in the cotton mills and what her day in the mills would have been like.
In the 1870s, nearly a quarter of all adults and children worked in the mills. Sarah spent her working life in these dark, poorly ventilated buildings. At a restored mill near Manchester, Jane is meeting Jean Leonard, a weaver herself in the 1950s. Children were an integral part of the mill's workforce and could start as young as 8. They were nimble, cheap to employ, and most families needed the extra income. Sarah herself was a child when she started work in the mill in Rawtenstall.
Well, she would have started at the age of 12, 13, whatever. She would have gone with a lady. This lady would be responsible for teaching her to weave. And then the girl would get 1 loom, and then 2 looms, and then she'd build up. Like I said, some places they had as many as 12 looms.
And they'd have to man 12 looms on their own?
Yeah, yeah.
So they'd be up and down like a yo-yo, wouldn't they?
That's right, yeah. Don't forget, when your great-grandma was a weaver, they worked in longer hours, so therefore they were tired. And tiredness, you lose concentration. Yes. And if you lose concentration, that's when accidents would have happened.
Sarah was working in the new world of mass production. Once considered a skillful job, weaving had now been mechanized. Sarah's day reduced to routine, repetitive, mind-numbing work.
Press your handle on.
Right, so what do I do once it's started then?
Take your hands off.
During Sarah's lifetime, the industry became dominated by super mills, employing thousands of workers, owned by dynasties which had earned themselves a place on Britain's industrial rich list. Famous names were Rylands, Fieldens, and in Preston, the Horrockses.
Very good. She's getting there. Have you ever thought you might be related to Horrocks in Preston? There's a textile firm in Preston. Horrocks.
Well, I know Horrocks is cotton, but no, I always thought that there was no connection.
So it'd be interesting to find out if you're related to them.
Does that mean I'll be rich, Jean?
Well, if you're not rich, at least you'd have plenty of sheets for your bed, wouldn't you?
Well, I like bedding.
While Sarah's side of the family toiled in the mills, it's possible that Jane's father's family, the Horrockses, were mill owners.
And maybe Jean's right, baby. We are connected to Horrocks cotton. We're a bit of a coup. Because they were huge, Horrocks cotton. I know that Southerners, you know, wouldn't know that because Horrocks isn't a common name in the south, but here, well, I mean, there are Horrockses like Smith in Lancashire. That's probably why we've never investigated it properly, but we should have done. Oh, we could have been dining on it for years. Oh, I could be rich. I could be rich, yeah!
Jane is travelling 20 miles west of Rawtenstall to Preston. Here in the Harris Museum, curator Emma Hesselwood can tell her more about the Horrocks family.
John Horrocks is hugely important in Preston. I mean, he was the founder of Horrocks's, and I don't know if you know the phrase "Horrocks is the greatest name in cotton," and everybody knows this phrase. It's just amazing. It was on everything, all their publicity material, and they really were the greatest name in cotton. This model was made in 1913 by mechanics, actually, at the yard works. It was built to show the extent of Horrocks's operations in Lancashire. It's so sad that none of this site survives and that you're not able to see any of it.
The Horrocks Empire was one of the largest cotton producers in Britain, employing over 7,000 workers. Their high-quality cloth was exported to India, the Middle East, and parts of Africa.
They had offices in all the major ports like Calcutta and Bombay, and in Australia and Africa and America. They had agents selling their long cloths, so everybody knew who Horrocks's was.
So how wealthy were the Horrockses?
They were hugely wealthy. When John Horrocks died, he was worth some, hundreds of thousands of pounds, and he left, wealth to sisters, brothers, and his children.
And did that wealth continue?
That wealth did continue, not actually in the Horrocks family, because the Horrocks... Oh. Well, the stories about the sons and grandsons of John Horrocks were just no good at running any businesses. Oh. So the managers and things ended up taking over the company and running it.
Hello. Hi there. Oh, thank you very much.
Emma has put Jane in touch with Jim Francis and Reverend Joseph Gilbert.
Hello.
For the last 20 years, Joseph has dedicated his time to mapping the Horrocks family tree.
I've come to find out how I'm connected, if I am, with John Horrocks and the mills.
Yes. Oh, there is a link. It's starting with your great-grandfather, Jacob, 1857. His father is George, 1832.
From Jane's great-grandfather Jacob, Joseph has managed to trace back 7 generations to 1665 to find Adam, their common ancestor. From Adam, there is a direct line to the founders of the Horrocks cotton empire.
Samuel and John are the cotton kings of Preston.
And that's it?
That's it.
That's the connection?
Roughly.
Yes. Right. What do you think that means now that I found that out?
Well, it won't mean anything financially. Sure.
Yeah, I know they were broke, weren't they, by the end? This is brilliant research. How long did it take you to do this, Joe?
Over 20 years.
Yeah. That's incredible.
Since I married a Horrocks.
Yes.
So beware of Horrockses.
Exactly. Exactly, but yeah, no, there is. I can see it. Well, it's a turn up for the books. Found out that I'm related to the Cotton Kings of Preston. Pretty amazing, that. I'm sure my dad will be amazed when he sees the family tree and sees his grandfather at the bottom there, and then the line up. They made me a brew.
John Horrocks moved to Preston in 1790. But for generations before, the Horrockses lived in Hawkshaw, only a few miles south of the Cunliffes, in Rawtenstall.
Your family lived here, married here, multiplied here for a long number of years. So we can say that the concentration of Horrockses in this sort of area is most remarkable. Most of them finished in the bleaching industry, with 2 Brooks bleach works just down here below us. And we do know that both your great-great-grandfather and great-grandfather were employed in the finishing side of the bleaching industry.
While John Horrocks was building his empire, Jane's family were working in one of the worst jobs in the cotton industry. Bleaching involved the cleaning of the newly woven cloth using dangerous chemicals in poorly ventilated rooms.
I think it's amazing what genealogy shows you, what this journey has shown me, that one end of the family tree, there's a rich mill owner, John Horrocks, and at the other end, which is my family, they're grafters. They've been hard done by. And that was their world down there, which is very compact, very parochial. It was insular, an insular world. I think I've got a romantic image of a community, but actually that's what I've run away from, and I like being anonymous.
In a pub in Hawkshaw, Jim's arranged for Jane to meet a distant cousin.
Hello.
Hello.
You're Sam?
I'm Sam. Yeah.
Hi.
How you doing?
Hello.
Jane,
Hi.
How you doing?
Mm.
Do you know why you're meeting me?
No.
No. I'm the direct descendant from John Horrocks, the mill owner.
Oh, are you really?
And I've got the legal right to bear the Horrocks coat of arms. And I've got it here. So, yeah. This is the Horrocks coat of arms here.
Brilliant.
Yeah? I think that's the bird up at the top. The eagle is holding a bit of a sprig of cotton.
Right.
Apparently. And we've got a worker bee here, or bee in flight, as a sign of industry.
Right.
All the rest of it. And apparently in the olden days it meant you could get an army together.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but I haven't done much of that.
What did you think then when you got this phone call?
My first thought was like, what? I'm related to Jane Horrock somehow. No. Because you're the only sort of Horrocks that I know, like, you know, other than outside of my family kind of things. This is a family tree that my...
All right. So where are you?
Well, I'm right at the bottom. We go back. That's my dad. Granddad, great-grandfather, great-great-grandfather, great-great-great-grandfather, all the way back to John Horrocks, is the big one. And I think that if you go 3 generations up...
Where's
so you've got
Adam?
John, Samuel, Adam.
That's our link, isn't it, Adam?
Grand. Well, then, so 1 generation later, this lot got really rich.
Yes, and our lot got poor. So all the Horrocks history ended up in there, in that box?
Yeah, pretty much.
Right.
Packed it all up, brought it to...
That's a shame for you, isn't it?
It's
because we've got loads of things.
Have you?
From the poor side.
Oh, right. You've got
loads of relics.
What sort of relics have you got?
Nothing. I'm lying.
Loads of bleach.
Yes. Bleach, yes. Actually, we are bleach obsessed in our family.
Really?
So,
you are? You're
yeah,
bleach obsessed?
Yeah.
Right. Do you think that's a genetic thing?
Yes, now you've trod on something there. That's
right.
Interesting. We're meeting Sam now. You seem so ordinary and so normal, and we're both exactly the same. There's no social difference between the two of us, and yet there was a huge social difference between his family, long gone, and mine. How times change, and how wealth changes, and how power changes, that now we're of a similar standing, me and Sam, we're on the same level.
Jane is back at her parents' and about to reveal what she's discovered so far.
All right. Yes, thank you.
You're not very smart.
Thank you very much.
And you're blue. Come in.
Thank you.
So are you looking forward to all being revealed?
Very much so. I really can't think what can be revealed about us. So, yes, very much.
I think it's really intriguing. Yeah, very pleased that you took part in it, Jane. Wonderful.
I've got butterflies. I didn't sleep very well last night after meeting Sam. So I think that must have been as a result of knowing that today was coming and telling them all. OK, I'm going to start with you, Dad, because I met somebody yesterday who's a very distant relative of ours, and he is the bloodline of Horrocks' cotton. So we are related to the mill owners.
Oh, wow, how, eh?
Yeah. Do you want me to show you out? Oh, Dad. Oh, tears on this show.
No.
Oh,
I control myself now.
Well, that's really good for you, isn't it?
I know, because you've always said all along that we weren't connected, haven't you?
Well, my Uncle George was wounded in the 1418 war. He was in one of these big houses, actually, in Yorkshire, you know, convalescing. And someone came round, one of the big chiefs, and he said, "What's your name?" So he said, "George Horrocks." He said, "Related to the cotton people?" He said, "Not as far as I know, but I wish I was." And that, you know, and he left it at that, actually.
That's really a find, isn't it?
I know. Now, getting on to the Conliffe, Sarah Conliffe. The 7th of April, 1861, Sarah was 2.
Yes.
And she had a brother called Thomas Catlaw, aged 1 day. And then the next census, 1881, the head of the family, John Conliffe, mother, Jane Conliffe, Sarah, Mary, George, Elizabeth, who was 11, Ernest, who was 7, Frederick, aged 2, and William, 7 months.
Good heavens.
So there was a bit of a discrepancy there because...
So they would be your grandma's brothers and sisters? My grandma's brothers and sisters?
Yes.
I didn't realise she had such a big
No,
family.
I only ever knew of those 2, ever.
So Thomas Catlaw, aged 1 day, didn't then appear on the other census, and he died at the age of 3.
Yes,
Right.
Because he died during this thing called the Lancashire cotton famine, and so he died during that time. I don't know what he died of. I mean, the common thing for children dying then was diarrhoea. No, it's just really emotional telling you. So, then in 1891, Sarah was the only female in the family. Her mother and father had died in 1888 at the age of 52 years old, her father, and Sarah was 29 then when her father died, so not 12.
No, I was always told this story.
So she didn't bring her...
No, I was always told this story that she did, but obviously, no.
I mean, there is truth in what she's told you, in that she did look after these 2 younger brothers. So she was a cotton weaver then, so she would have done a whole day in the mills and then come home and looked after these 2 boys, as you said. It seemed weird in such a small community where everybody knew each other that these other siblings weren't mentioned.
I have no idea.
Because you spent a lot of time with Sarah, didn't you? You went on holiday with her and everything.
Yes.
And Nan, that she didn't mention.
It was
that
my
she had as an
second
uncle.
home. It's really odd. Very, very odd.
Sarah's secrecy is a mystery. A possible explanation is her marriage at 37 to John Taylor. Her husband was 7 years her junior and the son of a large and prominent family in Rawtenstall.
We know that Sarah comes from a religious background. Were the Taylors
They
as
were
religious?
no, they were extra religious. They were very religious, all of them.
Methodist as well?
Methodist, yes, Methodists.
I wonder whether the family frowned upon Sarah. I wonder whether they thought he was marrying down. I know that she was a lot older than him, but I wonder whether they thought he was marrying down.
Possibly. My mother always said that this grandmother was a very formidable lady. So to be marrying into this family might have come as a great shock. We don't know.
To find out just how prominent the Taylor family were, Jane is visiting the local newspaper archives. Here she's meeting with historian Cathy Fishwick.
Jane Horrocks. Thank you.
Have a look at that, this handsome gentleman.
John Taylor.
Yes.
Death of Mr. John Taylor. So that was my great-great-grandfather, wasn't it? As stated above, Mr. Taylor was appointed postmaster at Rawtenstall on October the 3rd, 1873.
Apparently he was the first postmaster to actually deal with the telephone system.
Oh, really?
So he really introduced the telephones into Rawtenstall.
Goodness.
Telegraphy was the internet of its day and changed the fabric of society within a generation. John Taylor was part of a small group of quick-witted, educated businessmen who cashed in on the power of this pioneering tool.
I mean, it's amazing that my great-grandmother married into this family, who were very, well, forward-thinking, weren't they?
They were very go-ahead indeed, yeah.
In religion, the late Mr Taylor was a staunch Wesleyan and was a teacher at Longholm Sunday School over 60 years ago. He was also one of the first deputy organists at Longholm Wesleyan Chapel, being deputy to the late Mr P.H. Whitehead.
Oh, if you were connected with Longholm Methodists and the Whitehead family in those days, you were quids in.
Really?
You really were, because they knew everybody. They were the major town employers. And if he'd been brought up with them in his early education, he would have had the contacts for the rest of his life.
So Sarah, a tenant on David Whitehead's street, was now part of a family who could name the Whitehead mill owners as their friends.
I mean, they were ain't prominent, those Taylors. It might explain why Sarah didn't mention these other siblings. Perhaps they were no longer good enough for her. Perhaps that was it, that or they didn't toe the party line, the Methodist line, and so they had to be booted out. It's quite intriguing, really. I think it must have had something to do with the Taylors being, well, yeah, being such a force in this community.
Back home, Molly has one last mystery for Jane to solve.
There was this mysterious cousin about whom we know very little. I don't know whether he was a Taylor or a Cunliffe. He went out to Australia because in 1921 he sent this present to my mother for her 21st birthday, which came in the form of a tie pin. And my mother had it made into a ring for me. It's a black opal, so she told me. It has fire in it.
Oh, it's beautiful.
So how he came to go out to Australia, that is a complete mystery. All I know is that my mother said he was the black sheep of the family. Why he was a black sheep, that I don't know. So he is a mystery person.
To try and find some answers, Jane has hired the help of local genealogist Rita Hurst. Rita has looked into what happened to Sarah's siblings in an attempt to identify the mystery cousin.
Right, we found Mary. She got married, and she married a man called Bond. Now, George, he's a real mystery man. He disappears, age 23. Ernest, well, I was having trouble with Ernest, just like I was having trouble with George. And then a very funny thing happened. I was in Haslingden Library, and there was a woman on another reader. She was talking about some research she'd done in Rawtenstall. And I just said, I don't suppose you've any Cunliffes, have you? And she said, oh, yes. I think he was called Ernest. And he was the right age. He was 27.
Yeah.
And she said to me, I think he went to Australia.
Wow. Hell, that's amazing. Because we've got a mystery cousin that we've not been able to identify up until now. And I think this must be him.
Now then, he sailed on the ship, the Ormuz. And he sailed in April 1910.
Right. I mean, it's a huge journey to...
Yes.
To take on, isn't it?
Ernest was one of 10 million people who left Britain between 1870 and 1913 to seek a new life abroad in the British Empire. Like many, he headed for Australia and landed in Brisbane before settling in the new town of Toowoomba, Queensland.
This is a commercial directory. And in 1912, it's down as a billiard marker.
Oh, that's a marker. What's a billiard marker?
I have no idea. You're going to have to investigate that.
So now we know that Ernest was the black sheep of the family. I'm not sure what a billiard marker is, but it doesn't sound very Methodist to me. Sounds a bit ropey.
Jane's meeting with Mark Wildman, a former world billiards champion.
So what is a billiard marker?
Nearest thing to a billiard marker is today's referee, but of course he did a lot more duties, particularly preparing the table, getting the lunch, where food was being served, gamble with people, fix bets.
They wouldn't have been well respected then, would they?
They weren't well respected, and in fact I think a lot of them were rather sheepish about what they did for a living. This white's going in there if you'd like to get it out, Jane.
OK.
You'd make a good billiard marker.
Oh, good. Me and Ernest.
My view, Jane, based on the time and based on what billiard markers are, in my perception, and stuff I've read, he would be a bit of a cad.
Really?
Ready to earn a sharp buck. Probably struggled, and it's a tough life. I think he would have had gambling in his blood, and I think he travelled on the surface of life without going too deep, as people still do today.
At the time Ernest travelled to Australia, it was notorious for its hard-drinking, gambling culture. A far cry from his Methodist upbringing in Rawtenstall.
I'm going off to see a mineralogist to find out whether the opal ring was sent by Ernest, because apparently they can be very specific about where these opals were, where they came from. And is the final piece of the jigsaw, was it a gift from him?
Jane is meeting with mineralogist Grenville Millington.
And the colours here have got streaks in them. And streaks are good. It means that what we're looking at on the top here is real opal.
So can you place it exactly, the opal, on this ring?
Well, if we try and find a map, we can show you. The pink squares here represent the main opal finds in Australia. Most of these produce a very light coloured opal, but the black opal, although found in isolation in other areas, the main area is this lightning ridge. We would say that that's opal almost certainly came from that area.
And that is actually very close to where Ernest lived. He lived around this area, so that's amazing that... I mean, that clarifies a lot for us, thank you.
It's Jane's last day in Rawtenstall.
You want me to take the cake, Dad?
I thought I was going to take that out.
All right, well, you take it. Oh, I don't. Okay, great. Lovely. Excellent, thank you. I'm a little bit concerned about telling my auntie about Ernest, because my auntie's still, you know, a very religious person. You know, she goes to the Methodist church all the time. So there is a danger delving into your past like this, especially if you've got to be the bearer of bad news about the family, whether you should let sleeping dogs lie or tell them. When I went to the a billiard hall yesterday, I felt a bit sullied by him because it was all very pure and stoic and, you know, wholesome. The story had been so far anyway. And then Ernest came and he was the black sheep because, you know, they were all so good, such good people and clever and brilliant and then he came along and spoilt it all. Bloody Ernest. There's no importance of being Ernest for our Ernest. This Ernest was a Cunliffe who moved to Australia, yes. Not a tailor. We looked at census reports to see what he was doing. The first report is in 1912, and he was what was called a billiard marker. But he also would have been a bit of a hustler and a bit of a gambler.
Hence the black sheep.
Hence the black sheep.
Yes. That type of occupation in our family would have been frowned upon.
We also took your ring to a gem specialist in Birmingham, and we were told that it was from specifically that area around Brisbane where he was living at that time that he would have got this gem. we've sort of surmised how he came about it.
It probably would be a bet, wouldn't it?
I think so, yeah. So I think that's how he acquired the ring. Do you still want to wear it, Auntie?
Yes. I'll stick to my illusion.
Yes.
But for Molly, it's Sarah's silence on the existence of her 4 extra siblings which has affected her the most.
How do you feel now about what's been revealed, Auntie?
Well, I feel a bit sad, really.
You feel let down? Deceived?
Betrayed.
Deceived.
That's dramatic, isn't it? That nobody told me that I've been fed these stories all my life and believed them implicitly. And it wasn't so.
Has this tarnished your image of Sarah, Auntie?
No, not at all. No, not at all. No, I love my grandma dearly. Yes, and I have nothing but happy memories of growing up as a child with my grandma. No, it hasn't tarnished it at all.
Right, I'm going now, Mum. OK, well...
No, it's been absolutely lovely.
It's been brilliant.
And it's been interesting, and it's been nice having you to ourselves.
I know. Bye, Auntie. Thank you. Thanks for all your information and your help.
Are you married?
OK. Thanks for having me as well. It's been a lovely stay. Thanks for potato pie. And the scones, Auntie. Oh. I think my overriding memory of Sarah right now, is that she kept a huge secret about her sisters and brothers. She was keeping it to herself because she wanted them to believe that everything was good about their family. All their family life was based on goodness and being proper Christians. And I think it might have possibly been protecting the reputation of the Cunliffe family. The thing about genealogy is like opening Pandora's box. You might have one particular goal, mine being to find out why I'm from a line of strong, domineering women. And then it takes you in all sorts of other directions, and you understand much more, I think, about who you are. The reason that you're like that is because of all that behind. And it's settling, I think. I find it settling rather than unsettling.